My friend's husband has myeloma, and they are both struggling with that. It might be total, no obvious treatment path exists. He is clearly retreating from the relationship, not necessarily talking through it. It leaves her isolated, alone, grieving his loss before he is totally gone. I have a compassionate heart for him, since he must be struggling with fear of his own death, leaving his 5-year-old daughter, etc. She wants to fight this with him, but he has iced her out. How can we hold a place for someone else while asking for my own needs to be met? Aren't we all competing for pole position with regards to needs? How do we stay open-hearted while protecting our hearts? How can we hold a place for someone else while asking for my own needs to be met? I believe in these circumstances that in the case that someone is terminally ill, that process is one's own process of dying, which we all encounter, and it's very personal. Just as life is very personal. In this instance, I would say don't take his icing out personally. It's his way of dealing with his own death. And when the time comes, we each will have our own way of dealing with our own death. Just as we each have our own way of dealing with our own life. And I understand the wanting to be compassionate. And compassion always begins with listening. I would say to be available as much as you can. And if that means not being available at all, then I think that needs to be accepted. If you need to be involved as much as you can, with the awareness that someone else's boundaries may not include your involvement, and that needs to be respected, I believe. I believe that. Aren't we all competing for pole position with regards to needs? Yes, and primarily in this instant with self-compassion. This person may be experiencing self-compassion for himself, and at the same time, in reaching out, remember self-compassion for you as well. And whatever needs that you need met under these circumstances. How do we stay open-hearted while protecting our hearts? One of the things about being vulnerable, remaining open-hearted, is that in the end you discover that you're invulnerable. And it's based on the world view or one's perception of their own world view. I believe that, bottom line, that we are infinite beings. And that means that through the vulnerability, we are ultimately invulnerable. And that some people are afraid to keep their hearts open for fear that it would be damaged. Yet through that darkness lies the light of invulnerability. Through the darkness of vulnerability lies the heart and the light of being invulnerable. I trust this answers the question adequately enough. As always, I share what I know at the moment, what I feel is coming from my own heart, and invite others to share their beliefs, whether this is on Facebook in the comment section, because it's always helpful to provide answers. I know that I am one single person offering a perspective, and if you wish to offer yours, feel free to do so. If you're viewing this on YouTube, feel free to do the same. How do you hold space for someone while asking for your own needs to be met? Are we all competing for pole position in regards to our needs? And how do we stay open-hearted while protecting our heart? Thank you, as always, and I will say goodbye for now and cue the music.